The next iPhone design might be very, very different. Plus, Apple is working on some huge iPad upgrades, touchscreen Macs, Apple glasses, and so much more coming your way sooner than you might be expecting. This next generation of Apple products should be really, really exciting, but also might be a little problematic if Apple doesn't fix some big issues happening right now. So let's talk about the messy drama happening in the Apple world right now, as well as all the latest leaks, news, and rumors that you need to know about, as we always do here on the Apple Circle, and also talk about the 6 biggest Apple products launching soon that just leaked. We have a lot of new details, and let me tell you right now, there is a whole lot here to get excited about. No single Apple product is perfect, of course, but we are closer now to the perfect Apple product than we've ever been before. The new MacBook Pro finally has a great screen and has some really excellent and useful ports. AirPods Pro deliver fantastic noise cancellation and honestly, a sort of magical pairing experience. And the iPad Pro has been looking amazing since that major redesign in 2018. But contrary to Apple's messaging, not everything is perfect in the illustrious Apple walled garden. There are still some interesting choices being done and some dated designs that need to be fixed before we can really see this awesome next generation of all new Apple products. Before we jump into any of that, let's start first with some big changes coming to the iPhone. Obviously the iPhone 14, we sort of know what is coming, but what about the iPhone 15 and iPhone 16? What are the big changes coming next that could really change the iPhone as we know it forever? The first thing to expect is some major design change. Obviously, that's not happening this year. It might not even happen next year, but at some point, Apple is expected to finally give us a major redesign to the iPhone and go maybe in a couple of different directions. Some rumors suggest that Apple is gonna give us sort of this throwback to the iPhone 4. So you've got round volume buttons, this speaker mesh on the bottom, this very boxy industrial design. It's sort of got this mix of newness and familiarity there as well that's sort of hard to put into words, but if it looks anything like these renders, I am all in. I think this would be a really, really beautiful iPhone that we see in the not so distant future. Or Apple could go in an entirely different direction and finally, after a lot of rumors, give us the folding iPhone. Yes, the folding iPhone is real and might be coming really soon. We know Apple is currently developing multiple prototypes of folding iPhones with different screen sizes and different flipping mechanisms, and we know it's coming soon, so what if the next major design change was with this folding iPhone? Maybe we finally get a new form factor. We've got this big, beautiful 8-inch display on the inside. You've got this smaller but really useful screen on the outside that is unlike any iPhone we have ever seen before. The next big changes have to do with the screen. We know this year Apple is going to finally ditch the notch on the Pro models and give us this new double hole punch system. But what can we expect next? What's gonna happen with the iPhone 15 and iPhone 16 that gives us something different than this double hole punch system? Is this really sticking around forever? Right now, it looks like Apple is going to keep the double hole punch system at least next year into the iPhone 15, putting it across every model. So whether you go iPhone 15 or iPhone 15 Pro Max, you're gonna have this double hole punch system. With the iPhone 16, things could go a couple of different ways. Apple could keep the double hole punch system. They could move to just a little single cutout for the selfie camera and move Face ID under the display, or they go sort of all in on a sort of notchless, hole punchless iPhone and finally just give us an all-screen display. Face ID moves under the display, the selfie camera moves under the display, and we're left with just one big, beautiful OLED panel. The other screen change that has been rumored for quite some time is Apple finally bringing Touch ID back to the iPhone and building it under the display. We have heard rumors about this for years. We've seen patents about it, multiple patents now at this point. We know Apple is for sure working on this, and hopefully it's gonna come sometime in the next few years. A few other changes here worth noting. Obviously, Apple Silicon is gonna continue to get better, so don't expect that to go away anytime soon. In fact, Apple's gonna bring more of their components in-house to give you a better unified iPhone experience from end to end. USB-C might actually be happening sooner than later, thanks to some proposed legislation here in the US and some EU legislation moving forward. And camera upgrades, of course, will continue as well. We're getting a big upgrade this year with a 48 megapixel main camera. Maybe that will come to the sort of lesser iPhones next year with the regular 15 and 15 Max. And a new telephoto lens, a new periscope zoom lens system is coming as early as next year with the iPhone 15 Pro to give you 10x optical zoom. Next up, let's talk iPad with a lot of good news and some bad news here to discuss. There are some huge upgrades coming to the iPad. We've got new screens, new screen sizes, new form factor changes, lots of great stuff happening with the iPad, but also there's some drama and some problems here that we have just gotta talk about. Apple is dealing with some iPad controversy right now for a couple of major reasons. The first is that there still is no selection of Pro apps. Even as the iPad has sort of reached its peak in terms of hardware and software, you've got the new iPad OS 16, you've got the M1 chip inside with the M2 rumored to be coming really soon, you've got this really beautiful display, you've got the LiDAR camera system, you've got lots of great hardware here for the iPad to take advantage of, but the software still seems limited. Specifically, there still is no mention or no hint of full Pro apps. There's no Final Cut, there's no Logic, no full-fledged macOS app is ever going to come to the iPad, not because it is technically impossible, but because for one reason or another, Apple is saying no. And also, Stage Manager is causing some issues because this new software experience is only available on M1 powered iPads, even though many have suggested that this isn't actually needing the M1 to do its thing, and that it could be activated in older iPads, but Apple just doesn't want to do that because they want to force you to upgrade. But with that drama out of the way, what's the good news of the iPad world right now, and what do we have to look forward to this year, next year, and in the next few years? Well, one of the big upgrades coming hopefully sooner than later is an all-new 14-inch iPad. Originally, we thought this was gonna be a 14-inch iPad Pro, but after some more digging by analysts like Ross Young, looks like this might actually be an update to maybe the iPad Air or the base iPad getting this new, larger 14-inch size. We're also fairly confident Apple's gonna bring M2 to both iPad Pro models this fall, and also some new screen upgrades. So hopefully we see Mini LED sort of work its way down the line from the 12.9-inch model to the 11-inch model, maybe this year, maybe next year. And also sort of the next generation of iPad Pros will be rocking OLED panels. Yes, finally, you've got each individual pixel lit, some really inky blacks, really vibrant colors, coming to an iPad Pro near you, hopefully sometime in the not so distant future. That is going to be a really, really awesome upgrade. Next up, let's talk Mac, which surprisingly has sort of become Apple's favorite child as of late, getting a lot of attention in all the right ways. In terms of immediate upgrades for the Mac, there are a couple of things to be on the lookout for. One is sort of Apple finishing the refresh of older Intel Macs over to Apple Silicon, or specifically older designs over to newer designs. So the last Intel Mac as of right now is the Mac Pro. That will obviously be transitioning over to an Apple Silicon model, which hopefully should get a redesign. And the Mac Mini, which does have the M1 chip right now, still has that older sort of pre-refresh design that should be getting changed out sooner than later, hopefully before the end of 2022. We've also got some interesting Macs on the horizon. We're expecting to see a new 15-inch model of the MacBook Air coming next year, which should be really cool to see. We also have heard that Apple is supposedly working on a 12-inch MacBook of some kind, maybe a MacBook, maybe a MacBook Pro. Rumors on this make no sense. And also there have been rumors that Apple is working on some kind of iPad MacBook Pro hybrid that is maybe like a folding computer, so to speak, with like a big screen on the inside. Maybe it runs a hybrid of both OSs, maybe it's all touchscreen, maybe there's no keyboard. Unclear exactly what this is or how it's going to work, but according to some reports recently from Bloomberg, it's in the works and might be coming in the not so distant future. Of course, in addition to all the current stuff, we also know that Apple is working on this next generation of projects, all this stuff that's supposed to be sort of the next phase or the next era of Apple. One of the biggest rumors, of course, being with this new mixed reality AR VR headset, which might finally, after many years of rumors, finally be launching as early as January of 2023. Fingers crossed. We have also learned that Apple is finally starting to work and design the AR glasses, which are supposed to be sort of the next incarnation of the headset that sort of moves all the big, bulky headset technology to glasses that are sleeker, lighter, easier to have on your face. And also the Apple Car. This has been a very will they or won't they story for many, many years. If Apple's gonna build their own car or sort of build the brains of another car. But if Apple has sort of dropped any hints, this new sort of concept of CarPlay looks really beautiful, really sleek, and really, really cool. And if you really wanted to have the full Apple experience, why settle for CarPlay when you could just drive the Apple car that is sort of Apple's touches on the inside and out. And last but not least, there is also some new speculation that Apple could be re-entering the Wi-Fi game with their own new Wi-Fi system of some kind. Obviously, things have changed since Apple's older airport devices and their time capsule devices. We now have these new fancy mesh systems. Rumors, of course, are a little murky, but maybe Apple could be looking to compete with Eero and Google Wi-Fi and other mesh systems to bring this simple, unified Wi-Fi experience that'll hopefully pack a really super sleek design. It'll be really easy to set up. It'll have sort of seamless pairing and sort of work flawlessly with all of your Apple devices, and hopefully not break the bank too. Hopefully. So as always, guys, what are your thoughts on all these different Apple products in the works? I know this is a little bit of a different video, but I just kind of wanted to sort of do a recap of what we know about the different Apple lines right now. Obviously, some big moves happening in the iPhone space, in the Mac space, the iPad, but also this other stuff that finally will hopefully be moving from concept to reality very, very soon. The headset, the glasses, the car, Wi-Fi systems. What are your thoughts on this stuff? What are you most excited to see from Apple over the next few months and few years? And is there one thing in particular you're most excited to see? Would you buy an Apple car? Are you excited for the headset? Would you replace your Wi-Fi system with an Apple router? Do you still use an Apple router? Because I know many people, including my parents, still use the old Airport Extreme. What are your thoughts on all this stuff? Let me know your thoughts down below on Apple's current and future plans. As always, I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you so much for the support. I'm Rob Rosenfeld from the Apple Circle, and I'll see you all in the next one.